Today I want to discuss retirees discovering historic sites locally in your neighborhood or maybe afar in another country. The basis of my story was, I'm sure some of you, like myself, when we were in grade school, we were given day field trips to local historic places in our community or things that are of great regional significance in your community to learn about local historic events. One of my grade school field trips memories was going to Plymouth Rock. Uh, a long bus ride in a yellow bus to Plymouth, Massachusetts from my suburban town to look at a rock that was housed under this, Greek revival portico near the beach. Not very exciting for a school field trip, but it was a day out of school for us, so it was always that exciting. On a side note, the Pilgrims did not land in Plymouth, Massachusetts first. They actually landed in Provincetown, Massachusetts first, and stayed there for some amount of time, and then got back on the Mayflower and went to Plymouth and landed there, and that's where the rock is. But the claim to fame, Provincetown, the Pilgrims stopped there first in Massachusetts. Another field trip we went on was to the Plymouth Plantation. It was a living museum of people volunteering to reenact how pilgrims lived in this village environment. So you had blacksmiths doing blacksmith work with tools from the 1700s, women churning butter, women cooking over a fireplace in a large open hearth. So it was quite an experience, even though at that age, in our early teens, I don't think we were even maybe 9, 10, 11, 12, really that interested in it. Again, it was a day out of school. I would appreciate seeing these sites now more than when I was in my early tweens and teens in school back then. But I digress. The town I grew up in Massachusetts, was founded in 1670. So it had a great amount of historical information about the town being incorporated so early in Massachusetts. One of my most favorite historical points, not really pilgrim historical, but relatively 1900s historical, was there was a ginger ale made in our town called Chelmsford Ginger Ale in a factory from well before the 1930s, in the early 1900s. It was made there. It rivaled Coca-Cola at the time in the early 1900s for a drink being sold to the public. The thing I liked about it was it had a distinct ginger flavor that standard ginger ales didn't have. My mother always kept it in the refrigerator, a bottle, if one of us was sick with a sore throat or a cold. It was always a treat. We really didn't get it a lot when we weren't sick, but it was something that was different, and we really, really liked it. In about 1931, Canada Dry purchased the Chelmsford Ginger Ale factory and then started making Chelmsford Ginger Ale themselves. The factory was later closed in 1958 in Chelmsford, and it was brought, I guess, under the Canada Dry umbrella somewhere in the world, and they were making it there. So it was made up until about 2003. I think they stopped making it, but then I think Market Basket started making it at a local retailer. But I don't live in Massachusetts anymore, so I can't get it here. But when I do go back, I try to find a bottle, and brings back childhood memories. And Massachusetts being the first state not state, but first place for the Pilgrims to stop, gave much history for us to visit as school kids back then. I mean, the list is very lengthy. I'll give you a few things that we visited. I won't go into the full details. But school trips to Bunker Hill Monument, the Old North Church, Union Oyster House, which is listed as the oldest restaurant in America. Old Ironsides. I will post a picture of my sister and I in 1964 our father took a picture of us at Old Ironsides. You'll see that. I'll pop that up. I really liked the Isabella Gardner Stewart Museum when we visited it. I didn't know the repercussions of the great theft that happened there, but I did enjoy the museum and the building as a child. And my father was a museum buff. We went to several museums as children on family day trips. We went to the Peabody Museum of Antiquities and the Peabody Museum of Floral Museum, which had housed thousands and thousands of glass mock-ups of flowers and very genius flowers of the world, which was very, very interesting. And my father was a flower fanatic, so he liked going there. And we must not forget Lexington and Concord, the battle there, Paul Revere, 1th by land, 2th by sea, the British are coming. There was a lot of history to visit, but there's history everywhere. Even where I live here in Palm Springs now, we have a great amount of history in the town historical society of a lot of photos of the towns from its early one-room hotel to where we are today. The historical society has many, many photos I've gone through and looked at, and I think they do it online. You can still look at the photos online. One of the first things I visited here in Desert Hot Springs was the Cabot Pueblo Museum. It has a long story of being basically built from nothing by a married couple, and they just kept adding it on and adding it on and adding it on over the years in the 1930s and 40s. And it's quite an interesting house how it was built, but it is famous for its design, and you can visit that if you want, if you come to Palm Springs. And also we have, up into the 50s, we have a great modernism style here in Palm Springs. We have Modernism Week twice a year, which brings in thousands and thousands of people to look at the modernism style homes. We have the greatest number of modernism style homes in the country here in Palm Springs. But as I turn 67 and fully retire in 2 years, I will have more time on my hands. And I do plan on visiting more historical locations, even tourist historical locations, just to keep myself getting out there in the day and seeing things and learning things. It's about physical and mental well-being, and doing historical sightseeing can do that. Keeps your mind active. So if you're looking for historical things in your state, I have a link to my webpage, my blog page, which has a list of all the historical societies in the 50 states that you can start there and find things in your state that you could drop down from your state listing to see what's available in your area. You can also Google things and find them that way. Some museums are free, some charge, some give AARP discount, AAA discount. I know the museum here, the art museum here, is free 1 night a week. You may want to check that out if you want to save on your budget. And again, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and comment back. I will respond. As I always say at the end of these videos and my blog posts, live your best life today. Thank you.